Thank you for joining us. I am pleased to be involved in a discussion of 100 years of the Brattleboro Outing Club. And none of our guests today are 100 years old. I just want to assure you that. Joining us today, past president of the Brattleboro Outing Club, David Neumeister, current president of the BOC, Dave Twombly, and the chair of the Outing Club's tennis program and a noted tennis player in his own right, Joe Meyer. Gentlemen, thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you, Tim.
Nice to be here.
I guess where I'd start is 100 years ago, the organization had its humble beginnings by a man who was well known as a part of Brattleboro history. If one or several of you would like to go through that and tell us how we all got started.
I didn't know Fred Harris, but I knew a lot of people who knew Fred Harris. I grew up in Brattleboro. So in the 50s, when I was an elementary school student and interested in skiing, there was a lot of outing club things going on. I didn't know what the outing club was. I didn't know how it evolved. I didn't know how it was sustained, but I came to learn about the outing club as I grew older and as I got involved in the organization itself. But Fred Harris was a outdoorsman par excellence. A skier of great ability. I went to Dartmouth, founded the Dartmouth Outing Club, came back to his hometown of Brattleboro, and started the Harris Hill Jump, which fortunately is built on a natural hillside. So it was easy to build a jump in that location where Harris Hill still is located. He himself was a skier and a ski jumper and a tennis player. So he just wanted to get involved in outdoor sports, is my sense of how it got started. In the 50s, I began my exposure to the outing club by taking ski lessons from outing club volunteers.
I will also chime in on that when the outing club was formed, it was chartered to run the jump. So the jump, the Harris Hill Ski Jump was run by the Brattleboro Outing Club from 1922 up until 2005 for like over 83 years. So it was run strictly on volunteers, and it was a great asset for the club, which enabled us to generate some revenue and invest back into the club and build other tennis courts and other things as well.
So all of this started with a simple idea of a ski jump. And as Dave, you just said, it has grown to a number of other programs. Give us a rundown of what has been offered and what currently is offered by the BOC.
Well, we have 4 programs, and this is not in any order of importance, but the tennis program is just a fabulous program. We have 6 clay tennis courts, which are really in excellent condition. And unfortunately, during the last 2 years, we've not been able to have our children's teaching program, but that'll be coming back when it's allowed. We also have our cross-country and snowshoe program, which has expanded, and last year we had over 350 members. We have a row BOC program, which was started in 2010, and we last year had 43 members. And then we also have one other program called the paddling program, which has been run for over 30 years by Larry McIntosh. And Larry has just done an excellent job in creating excursions for people who are kayaking, can have just a wonderful time. So those are really our 4 main programs.
Now, you of course do run the cross-country trails at Brattleboro Outing Club, at the Brattleboro Country Club?
Yes, I'm the chair of the committee, and we have a great committee of wonderful volunteers. And we have our head groomer is Isaac Wagner. We have Ian Finn, who's the hut manager, along with actually Molly Burke, Peter Gould, Laura Robertson is our membership chair. Bill Jan has been fantastic. He was the one actually was responsible for securing the grant for the building that we have up there now, which is a 15 by 30 foot hut, which we've really improved upon. And at some point, when we're past this pandemic, skiers are going to be able to come in, have hot chocolate, warm up, and we offer, one of the things that we do and what our vision is for the cross-country program is to offer free skiing to our members. So we're looking to build our cross-country inventory as well as snowshoes, and it's a great benefit because we want to attract more younger families so that way they don't have to incur the expense of every year getting new equipment for their kids. But it's a great family sport. Linda Bailey does a great job with instruction purposes, and I hate to leave out names, but Joe Cook has done a great job with trail maintenance. Victor Morrison, we have an affiliation with other ski areas where one of the benefits, if you're a BOC member, you can ski once at their area for free as well. And we have Kate and Pete Delner recently came on board, and they've done a great job with our snowshoe program, which not too many people are aware of, where they've really done a nice job with the trails. And if you don't ski and you can walk, snowshoeing is wonderful. So we're doing that, and they're also leading the effort. We have a lot of Afghan refugees that are now in Brattleboro, and we're doing some things for them so that they can get out and enjoy the Vermont outdoors as well.
Great. Now, this, of course, is a membership organization, or can anybody take part?
Well, what it is, it's every program has their own membership dues, and what it is, it's you pay the dues, and but anyone really can go to the cross country and pay a fee to ski on the trails. So you don't have to be a specific member for that. Tennis is a little bit different, and I'll have Joe explain that as well. But again, we're just really trying to be as inclusive as possible. One of our big mantras is that we are a volunteer organization where the only way that we're able to keep dues as low as they are is by the support of our volunteers. And that's one of the things that I think is just amazing. The cross country, to join it for a single is $125, a family is $250. We are instituting a senior day on Wednesday where seniors can ski for $5, and that's it. With our tennis program, I'll just touch on that too. One of the things when you play tennis, if you're ever a tennis player, what I really like, what first attracted me to the BOC before I joined it, is the fact that the members maintain the tennis court. So not only after you play, you sweep the courts and then you brush the courts and then sweep the lines. And really, the courts are in amazing shape, and we have a great support group for that. But I'll let really Joe talk more about the tennis.
I think I'll go to Joe next then. And, Joe, people who've known you growing up throughout the Brattleboro area, they've known you as an athlete, a tennis player, and good to see that you're continuing to be active with the Brattleboro Outing Club.
That's one of the great things about the organization is it encompasses people from all ages, the beginners who learn the different sports from older people right up to people who were 90 years old. We had, I don't know if you know John Nessel, but he was a ranked 90-year-old tennis player, nationally ranked, longtime member with our club. But the tennis program is about 10 years younger than the BOC itself. It was the ski jump was 1922, and the tennis courts were built a little more than 10 years later. But they've been around. Fred Harris was a mixed doubles national champion in tennis. He wasn't known that he was a tennis player.
Didn't know that. Wow.
He did everything. He canoed up and down the river and jumped off the ski jump. And my family moved to Brattleboro in the late 60s. We were his next door neighbor. We moved into the house next door. And we discovered the outing club right away. And, I've always been a member. The tennis program is very well known throughout New England. The courts are beautiful. It's just a really nice setting, and everyone is very friendly. It's a membership-driven thing, but we work to encourage new members. And if you're looking to play and you're not a member yet, get a hold of any number of people, and we'll get you out there to try it out. We'll convince you to become a member. Even
So,
you, we're down a lefty or two, Tim. We need you this
well, as long as you can deal with a left-handed thinker as well as a left-handed player.
year. We've got some of those.
Oh, yes. So
Trust
how
me.
long have you been playing, Joe? I mean, obviously, it looks like you've been playing from a very young age.
I've had a racket since I was, I mean, I was born in Missouri, and my grandfather was a tennis player in his youth. We've just always had rackets, but you need the opportunity to play. It's not enough to know the rules and have a racket. And that's one of the great things about the outing club is there's a large group of players and programs, and there's opportunity to play. So you really get out there and discover or rediscover the joy of running around and slugging balls, and maybe keeping score, maybe not, who knows.
So have you been involved with the program all through adulthood, or when did you get more active?
Well, it was one of those things, and lots of members are like this, where you have your stages of life. When my girls were small, not so much free time. And then they get bigger and older and are off doing their own thing, and all of a sudden there's time, and you volunteer here, and then you expand your role. And so, but for the last 20 years I've been doing something, and for the last 8 or so I've been in charge of the program.
So I understand the tennis program is a separate membership operation. What does the season look like, and are you always looking for members?
We're always looking for members. We're open May 1st to the end of October. April is we get the courts ready, but we're open for play May through October. There's 6 courts, so that's a lot of court time. So all the members we can get, and then we work to mix everybody up so that you get opportunities to play.
So young and old alike then?
Young and old alike, yeah.
Great, fantastic. I want to find out more about some of the storied history of this organization, which if you don't know where the Outing Club is, it's located on Cedar Street in Brattleboro. The tennis courts are there, and of course Harris Hill is there. But Dave Neumeister, how has the Outing Club grown and had its growing pains throughout many of the years that you've been involved?
Thank you, Tim. That's an excellent question. I was fortunate in the 50s to grow up enjoying outing club programs. I took ski lessons from the outing club. My first ski lessons were from volunteers. Just as it's really driven by volunteers today, it was driven by volunteers in the 50s. And my ski lessons were on a hill that is located where Market 32 is now. That used to be called Latches Hill. The same Latches family that started Latches Pier owned that piece of land. It was a hillside. Now it goes up grade a little bit to where the interstate is currently located, but it used to be a taller hill. There was a rope tow on that hill in the 50s. There was a ski jump, a small ski jump on that hill, a jump that would be similar to the small ski jump that's located at Memorial Park, where young 10, 12-year-olds start ski jumping. You have to learn somewhere how to jump before you get to Harris Hill. And the training hill at that time was on that hillside, up behind Market 32. There also was a 40-meter jump a little further south on that hillside. That 40-meter jump is still there, actually, but it's not used any longer. It's located very close to where exit 1 southbound leaves the interstate and heads over towards Route 5. If you stopped on that exit ramp and looked to your right, there's a ski jump there. Still, the form is there, the hillside is there. That's where I learned to ski jump on a 40-meter hill. In high school, I jumped that hill many, many, many times. Hill record there is probably 150 feet or something like that, where Harris Hill was 300 feet. So you could progress from small to medium to large. And that's the way the jumpers did in my era. There were a lot of kids who learned to ski jump in Brattleboro. And Brattleboro was known as the ski jump center of New England, Brattleboro and Lebanon, New Hampshire. And there was a community in northern New Hampshire. There were only 3 places in New England where ski jumpers were training and learning the field. And there were a lot of kids came out of Brattleboro who got college scholarships in ski jumping back in the 50s and 60s. And then there were those like Hugh Barber who came along later and got scholarships because of ski jumping they learned in Brattleboro. I also took a bus that the outing club and Hogback ski area paid for to go to Hogback on Saturdays. So a child could join the outing club, pick up the bus on Western Avenue, go to skiing at Hogback on the Saturday and get a ride back to Brattleboro. Children, mostly children on that bus, but some adults rode the bus as well. That was provided by the outing club. So they've always been involved in encouraging people to ski, the way Joe talks about tennis. There's always been big emphasis on youth programs so that kids would learn to ski, whether it's downhill skiing or ski jumping or cross-country skiing. They've always had cross-country trails at the country club. When I say always, I can speak about the 50s, 60s, 70s, all the way up to today. The outing club has always been a volunteer organization that encouraged families to get outdoors and play. And Dave Twombly spoke of the rowing programs and the kayaking programs. Again, they're all outdoor family sports. They're lifelong sports. I think the outing club is quite a unique organization in that it's lasted 100 years. And to my knowledge, the only people that have ever gotten paid working for the outing club were the tennis instructors and the person who groomed trails at the country club. And those were part-time jobs, obviously, summer jobs, winter jobs. So essentially, it's maintained its emphasis on family, learning, outdoor sports, healthy time together for 100 years. I think it's a phenomenal credit to an institution that Fred Harris started 100 years ago and that's lasted and still successful, still giving lessons in these sports, still having equipment available at the country club for someone who wants to try cross-country skiing. I mean, to me, it's amazing that the organization started that long ago and is still that successful.
But yet, going through its history, things need to upgrade and improve, and it comes to the time when the Harris Hill Ski Jump and the Outing Club, obviously one has outgrown the other and Harris Hill needs to modernize. How was the decision made in going forward there?
I was on the board at the time, and this was around 2002 to 2005, 2006. And what happened was it became apparent that the BOC did not have the resources to really improve the hill. The hill, in fact, was closed down because of safety reasons. And what happened was the BOC gifted for $1 the hill to the Harris Hill Ski Jump Group. And I will say they have done an amazing job at putting money into that hill, improving it, and it's just been fantastic. And I will say I've been a marker there many years, and it was a lot of fun. And I mean, I will say I give my hats off to Pat Howell, Liz Richards, currently Sally Seymour, and oh my gosh, there's a lot of other people, Dana Zelenakis, Dana Sprague, for doing really a phenomenal job. And there are a lot of names that I'm missing, but with their resources and their energy and enthusiasm, again, that's an all-volunteer organization too, and that's one of the premier events in Brattleboro. So I would encourage people that if you want to, they are still looking for volunteers, and if that's the case, to look on their website or and contact them. If you need help, contact me, and I'll put you in connection with them. But they've just been phenomenal. One thing I forgot to say, Tim, on our Row BOC program, I just also want to acknowledge Dennis Smith. We started that program in 2010. And I'm going to back up a minute. Tim Whitney approached our board asking would we be interested in having a row program. And the board was absolutely, why not? So what happened was we put the connections together. Dennis Smith has been leasing the property to us since the get-go. Graham King, who is a very accomplished boat builder, and he had a boat shop up in Putney, and he has competed and made sculls for a lot of the Ivy League schools that have raced on the Charles River. Anyway, he was instrumental in advising people in regard to how to construct the docks, buying sculls. And with that, I would also very much like to thank the Brattleboro Outing Club Education Fund, BOCEF, because without their support, they probably donated over $60,000 to $80,000 to our programs over the years so that we could acquire sculls, so we could acquire snowmobiles, and other things as well, improve the tennis courts. So again, a lot of moving pieces behind the scenes. I also want to thank Buzz Schmidt, who owns the Retreat Farm, because we have a piece of property on our cross-country trail that is the dog trot trail. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Melanie Bose and Dave Evans as superintendent there, because they've been wonderful to work with in allowing us to utilize the facility for the cross-country ski trails and the snowmobile trails.
Amazing. Brattleboro seems to be a leader in so many areas, and it's great to know that recreation has been among those.
Yeah.
It certainly has. And I think low-cost recreation should also be emphasized, because the fees have gradually increased because it's more expensive to maintain tennis courts today than it was in the 60s when I was playing tennis there. And I used to bicycle to those tennis courts in the summer, and I took lessons there and I played tennis there. And on rainy days, I played ping pong in the clubhouse there. But the Outing Club tennis program had to expand because of popularity, so they added 2 more courts. They grew in the same way the jumping program evolved over time. So the tennis program went from 4 courts to 6. In the case of jumping, one of the things that evolved was people started jumping on larger and larger hills. And Harris Hill was no longer a big hill in the jumping world in 2005, 6, 7. And we were never going to have national championships anymore on that hill. And that's partially, and someone had to spend some big money. And that's partially why a group formed to just work with Harris Hill, is because hill profiles changed. That is, the way the hill is, the shape of the hill is changed, and the hills had to become longer. And when I ski jumped in the 50s and 60s, that hill was a 65-meter hill. It's now a 90-meter hill. That's almost a 30% increase in size of the hill, length of the hill, how far the jumpers go. You watch the Olympics today, they jump 90-meter and larger hills. So the trend got so big that the Brattleboro Outing Club itself, as a volunteer group, didn't have the money to maintain the ski jump. They did have the money to expand tennis, and they did evolve on their ski lessons from lessons that were offered at the Latches Hill, to the Memorial Park lessons, to Hogback lessons, to Maple Valley lessons as ski areas came and went. The Alpine program evolved. So the club has grown as needs have grown, as the population has changed, as interests have changed, but it's always focused on healthy family outdoor activity at as low a cost as possible.
So how can members of our community continue to support the Brattleboro Outing Club? And I think this will also lead you, Dave, into an event that's coming up not too far away.
Well, again, we would love the community to get involved. We just really have some great programs, and we'll make it as easy as possible for you to get involved. One of the things that we're doing for our 100th celebration coming up is we have co-hosted an event with the Harris Hill Ski Jump Group, and that event is going to take place Friday night before the ski jump. This is a very unique event. Harris Hill has done an amazing job in lighting the ski jump area, and we are going to have an event together that would start at 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock, which will then be followed by fireworks. There is going to be spot jumping, and what this is, the skiers who are going to be participating on Saturday and Sunday are going to try to land on a bullseye, if you will. They call it spot jumping. So you're going to see the same guys jumping that are going to be jumping the following days. It's just going to be a fun event. There's going to be bonfire. There's be a food vendor, beer tent. We at the Outing Club, we are going to be selling buffs. We are in the process of we're needing to raise money for another snowmobile. We have one that just died actually just 2 days ago, and so we are looking to raise funds for that. So all the proceeds from the ski buff sales are going towards that, and plus we're looking to also accept donations because we're looking to raise $16,000. We've raised maybe about 4,000 to 5,000 at this point. So we're hoping to place the order by April so we can have it for next year in November. So again, the other part, if you can come to this event, it'll be wonderful. If you like to volunteer, you will also receive a BOC T-shirt, similar to the one I'm wearing right here. And that way, we really support volunteers and appreciate it very much.
Well, you all are doing such a great job, and want to ask if the event before the Harris Hill weekend is going to be free admission, or how's that going to work?
Thank you for bringing it up. It's a free community event, and it's our appreciation to the community for the support. And I will speak also on the BOC. We are going to be doing other things later in the year too, to also celebrate our tennis, row BOC, and paddling programs as well. So again, if you can make it there, we'd love to see it. It will be a lot of fun.
Fantastic. And in case people want to know more, is there a website they can check out to do that?
There is. It's brattleborooutingclub.org is the name of the website. And you will also find, we post our cross-country conditions there. We're updating that, but that's a good source of reference to go to.
Well, fantastic. Really appreciate everything that all of you do to promote the cause of recreation and making Brattleboro and the surrounding environs a more healthy community. So keep up the great work.
Thanks, Tim, and thanks for doing it. We appreciate it.
All right, our guests have been Dave Twombly, the president of the Brattleboro Outing Club, past president Dave Neumeister, and Joe Meyer, who is the chair of the Outing Club's tennis program. Please do what you can to support the Brattleboro Outing Club, and in a way, you're helping yourself. This is Tim Johnson. Thanks for watching.